The rotten royal family and the call to abolish the monarchy. Hello world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from, brace yourself for a searing wake-up call that'll burn through the velvet curtains of privilege. It's August 4th, 2025, and as the sun blazes or the stars flicker in your corner of the globe, a dark shadow clings to the British royal family like damp rot in an ancient castle. This gilded, crown-obsessed institution teeters on the edge of irrelevance, desperately clutching its scepter while shielding a suspected sex trafficker in its ranks. Buckle up, because we're plunging headfirst into the cesspool of hypocrisy, scandal, and unearned power that is the House of Windsor. Abolish the monarchy isn't just a hashtag, it's a clarion call for justice, a Molotov cocktail lobbed at centuries of unchecked privilege. Let's turn up the heat and burn this farce to the ground. Let's cut to the chase. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, is a walking stain on the fabric of decency, a national disgrace whose name is synonymous with scandal. This isn't tabloid fodder, it's a festering wound on the conscience of anyone who dares to demand accountability. For years, the allegations have swirled, a toxic storm cloud around Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious pedophile and sex trafficker whose crimes sent shockwaves across the globe. Epstein's web of depravity ensnared the world's most powerful men, billionaires, politicians, and, yes, royalty. And there was Andrew. Not just a bystander, but a cozy confidant, whining and dining with a monster, while the royal family turned a blind eye, their silence louder than a cathedral's bells. The evidence? It's damning, unignorable, and etched in the courage of survivors like Virginia Giuffre, who accused Andrew of sexual abuse with a clarity that cuts like a blade. His response? A catastrophic 2019 BBC interview where he claimed, with a straight face, "I don't sweat," and spun a tale so absurd it could have been scripted by a fever-dreamed satirist. That interview wasn't just a PR disaster. It was a public execution of his credibility, leaving the world fuming and demanding answers. But the real outrage, the gut punch that keeps us awake at night, isn't just Andrew's actions. It's the royal family's complicity. This so-called beacon of duty and honor hasn't just stood by their disgraced duke. They've thrown up a fortress to shield him. This isn't speculation. It's a cold, hard fact, as undeniable as the crown jewels locked in the Tower of London. When the allegations broke, when the world cried out for justice, the Windsors didn't open their doors to scrutiny. They didn't demand truth or accountability. Instead, they circled the wagons with a ruthlessness that would make Machiavelli tip his cap. In 2022, they stripped Andrew's titles, a hollow gesture, a glittering distraction tossed to an angry public like crumbs to pigeons. Behind the scenes, nothing changed. Andrew still lounges in luxury, propped up by the family's bottomless wealth, shielded from the consequences that would crush anyone else. Why? Because the monarchy isn't about serving the people. It's about preserving itself, no matter the cost. If that means harboring a man accused of heinous crimes, so be it. That's the rotten core of this institution, laid bare for all to see, a stench that no amount of pomp and pageantry can mask. This isn't just a betrayal, it's a slap in the face to every survivor of abuse who's ever clawed their way toward justice. While Virginia Giuffre and others display courage that could move mountains, the Windsors cower behind their palaces and PR teams, their silence a deafening indictment. But let's zoom out, because this isn't just about Andrew. He's the symptom, not the disease. The monarchy itself is a monument to unearned privilege, a relic of a bygone era that elevates a handful of elites while demanding the rest of us bow and scrape. They parade in tiaras, wave from balconies, and expect adulation, all while scandal festers behind their gilded doors. It's obscene, it's outdated, it's a sham draped in velvet and ermine, and it's time we rip the curtain down. The Epstein case isn't just a British scandal, it's a global reckoning, exposing how the ultra-wealthy skate free while the rest of us drown in consequences. But the royal family's role hits harder, like, a betrayal from someone you trusted. They're not just random billionaires, they're taxpayer-funded symbols, propped up as the moral heart of a nation. Yet here they are, protecting a man whose name is tied to, honestly, one of the most depraved scandals of our time. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. Your taxes, your hard-earned money, are funneled into an institution that prioritizes a suspected predator over the truth. Ask yourself, why are we still tolerating this? Why are we bankrolling a system that mocks justice while waving from a golden carriage? The answer lies in power, raw, unyielding, centuries-old power. The monarchy isn't just a family, it's a machine, oiled by deference and fueled by distraction. They dazzle us with weddings, christenings, and jubilees, hoping we'll forget the rot beneath the sparkle. They lean on tradition. whispering that they're the glue holding society together. But we're not that naive anymore. The world is waking up, and the calls to abolish the monarchy are echoing from London's rain-soaked streets to the sun-scorched squares of Lagos, from Sydney's harbours to San Francisco's hills. People are, honestly, done with a system that lets elites glide above the law while the rest of us are shackled to it. Andrew's scandal isn't just a flashpoint, it's a flare, illuminating the cracks in an institution that's been crumbling for centuries. So, what does justice look like? It's not complicated, but it's radical. First, Andrew must face the music. No more hiding behind out-of-court settlements or royal privilege. If he's innocent, let him prove it in a courtroom, not in a PR-orchestrated charade. Second, the royal family must stop playing defense. If they truly cared about their so-called values, they'd cut Andrew loose, financially, socially, completely. No more royal lodge, no more handouts, no more protection. Finally, and most crucially, it's time to dismantle the monarchy itself. Imagine a world where no one is above the law, where bloodlines don't grant immunity, where justice isn't a privilege but a right. That's not a pipe dream, it's a necessity, a future we can build if we dare to demand it. The defenders of the monarchy will, clutch their pearls and cry tradition, heritage, tourism, dollars. They'll paint the royals as a unifying force, a symbol of stability in a chaotic world. But what stability comes from shielding a suspected predator? And honestly, what tradition justifies ignoring the cries of victims? The tourism argument is, well, laughable. Buckingham Palace would draw crowds as a museum, not a fortress for untouchable elites. Versailles doesn't need a king to attract millions, and neither does London. As for unity, the monarchy divides more than it unites, pitting those who see through the facade against those still enchanted by the fairy tale. The truth is, the Windsors aren't a symbol of stability, they're a symbol of stagnation, a relic that's outlived its purpose in a world that's outgrown it. Let's take a moment to reflect on history, because the monarchy's defenders love to lean on it. They'll tell you the crown has weathered storms before, revolutions, abdications, wars. But history isn't a defense, it's a warning. Empires fall, dynasties crumble. The divine right of kings was shattered centuries ago, replaced by the will of the people. Yet here we are, in 2025, still propping up a family that claims superiority by birth. The French guillotined their monarchy's excesses. The Russians toppled theirs in a tide of revolution. Britain's path doesn't need to be so bloody, but it must be just as bold. The Windsors aren't invincible, they're vulnerable, and Andrew's scandal is the crack in their armor we've been waiting for. This is a call to action, a rallying cry for anyone who's ever felt the sting of injustice. The royal family's refusal to confront Andrew's complicity is a stain on their legacy and a betrayal of the public's trust. But we're not powerless. We can't change the past, but we can shape the future. Raise your voice, on the streets, on social media, in every conversation. Share the stories of Epstein's survivors, whose bravery lights the way. Amplify the calls to #abolish the monarchy until they echo in every corner of the globe. Pressure lawmakers to strip away the protections that keep the Windsors untouchable. Every tweet, every post, every moment of outrage is a hammer strike against their gilded walls.